ルチャールのお兄さんが病気になった。イルチャールのお兄さんが看病して。
Alright, hey guys, so in this video, I'm just gonna show kind of my, I want to call it a it is a free-to-play Hu Tao build, so it's a pretty low investment, nothing like too crazy, so we're just gonna go through it. So I took her to level 79. I don't think you need to take her higher than this, unless you're like super late game and you do want to take her to 90. The higher you take her, like the more you hyper invest, the better she'll be. So the best free-to-play weapon that you can like access is the Blackcliff polearm. And so I've got mine at R2. I would recommend R1 because this effect doesn't really matter. Like if it's 15 or 12%, it doesn't matter because a lot of the time you're not even kind of utilizing it to its max. So I think it's really not a big issue if it's at R1. R2 is spicy, and you know, if you really want to go to R5, do it, but I would, you know, if you're free to play, you need those summons for characters, right? Every basically Blackcliff you get is about 3 summons, so you know, it's like 15 summons, and that could be enough to get to like a soft pity. It'll make a difference. You can hyper invest into the Blackcliff and it'll be good, but I find I don't usually get 3 stacks. I do a lot of switching around with Hu Tao, so I'm gonna talk about that in the video. But she's very like, this doesn't matter. So what we're basically going for is the high base attack and the crit damage. So that's the most important part of this. And so let's look at the artifacts I'm running. So we'll start from the flower. So basically, as I talked about in my other math videos, the most important stats you want to give her are crit rate and crit damage. Otherwise, I'm looking, energy recharge is always nice, attack, and then HP percent. Those are going to be the kind of next two to have. Energy recharge, I find it's not too hard to get her ult up, and she's so good at like doing charged attacks. Like, it's not even almost that important to get her ult up, for me at least. And I'm running no bless, so her ult should be like pretty important, but honestly she does so much damage with her normal and charged attacks. Like, I don't really think it's a big deal if you don't get that. My feather here is level 12. You know, this can go up higher, she'll get a bit more attack. It's got a nice crit damage here, and it's got this HP, so that's stuff like that is really good. Crit rate 10% is fantastic. Then we got some rolls into flat HP. Flat HP is a lot worse than a percent, but it is better than you know, just like defense percent, right? This is gonna help more than a defense percent stat. Otherwise, we got a pyro damage bonus. The only good, I mean, we've got like flat HP again. It's not great, but it's something. It is helping, right? And then we've got attack percent. That's also gonna help, because you don't want to be like too low on attack. You do want to get some attack, because everything always scales off of your attack. Like, it does get added in. And then energy recharge is pretty nice, so that you can get her ult without too much difficulty. But the pyro damage bonus main stat is definitely the way you want to go. You don't want anything else here. So because I've got Blackcliff, I'm using crit rate. If you're using deathmatch, you want to use crit damage. In the weapon video I'm going to talk about all of the other weapons, but basically deathmatch is, I want to say, it's definitely probably the best 4-star spear, other than potentially Lithic. Lithic and deathmatch are going to be kind of on par. Lithic does have the higher base attack, but again, it's Hu Tao, so it doesn't matter too much. But Lithic, if you can build a good team, that's going to be really, really good. Otherwise, these substats are like, okay, you know, it's 12% crit damage. It's not like what whales have, like 20%. And we can't get crit rate on this, so the HP is good. The defense is whatever. It's like 1 or 2 rolls. It's not too bad here. And then the energy recharge is really nice. So basically, if we go onto details, we don't have a lot of attack. We're doing good with HP, and if you take her to 90 with this build that I've got, I'm sure I'm going to get above 30,000 HP. So this will be really good. Elemental Mastery is nice, but you just get it from your substats, don't worry about it. Then we've got crit rate and we've got crit damage. So this is substats, and then the 20, so far it's at 25%. So once I max out that crit rate artifact, it'll be like 55. And then I got some pretty good crit damage substats, so this is pretty decent. And once you take her from 80 to 90, she's going to get another 10%. So mine's going to be at about like 180%, and then once I finish up my artifacts, it might go even a little bit higher than 180% if I get any more crit damage rolls. Her energy recharge here, you know, it's nice to have, but it's not a priority. Pyro damage bonus, this is going to go up a little bit more, but this is like pretty decent. Also for the artifact, so I'm running Crimson Witch 2-piece, that's definitely, you definitely want at least a 2-piece, and then for this other kind of 2-piece or 4-piece, I'm running Noblesse Oblige, but that's not helping her with her charged attack. So 4-piece Crimson Witch is definitely the best, especially if you're going to do what I'm going to talk about, which is basically utilize Xingqiu, like use and abuse him as much as you can, because those two are so good together in my opinion. I don't think there's another support that's as good as Xingqiu for Hu Tao. Like, he's really good for basically everyone else, but for Hu Tao, it's like, I want to say it's like on a different level, because he can really keep up with her fast, like, normal attacks in her E, and the number of vaporizes she can get, it seems to, like, work really well with her charged attacks. But basically, this takes us up to 2700. I'm going to press E, and then we can see... So it's 2,400. So this is going to go higher. If we look at her talents, I've taken her Guide to Afterlife to level 8. Can't even take it up higher. But you want to, I think, take this to level 8. This one, at least 686 is like great. It's, I'd say, financially pretty easy to do. The 8 is a little bit trickier. That took me, I think I've only had 2 or 3 of those like pieces that you need from the boss drops, and so I've used those, but it can be hard to go above 8 basically is my point, unless you have a lot of those, and it starts getting very expensive. But basically something like this, and then you want to hyper invest as much as you can, depending on how much you want to use her. But 686 or even 666 is pretty, it's like pretty good. White Tassel is super good. It works. It increases her normal attack, so you're gonna want to do normal attacks with this. You know, you're gonna get a massive increase by this. It looks like it's constant. You're gonna get crit rate. Your base attack doesn't even matter too much, so White Tassel is amazing. We're gonna see the exact math that I do with the optimizer on it, but as a free-to-play, basically I'd say White Tassel, and then the expensive version is the Black Cliff, and the Black Cliff is super nice. Very easy to build. Alright, so in this next part, we're just going to look at some cases or scenarios with a little bit of Hu Tao gameplay. So I was using her with my other teams, and we took her to 3 places. So the Cryo domain, the Hydro kind of boss, and then we tried her against the Geovishap. And it's all the same build for all of them. So this is in the Hydro domain, so I'm going to point out some stuff, and I might also talk about some other stuff that I thought about. So these 3 little stork things, you can take them out super easily with Hu Tao when you charge attack through them. She honestly probably performed the best in this one, because she can vaporize so easily. She just completely erases basically everything here. And you're going to see that, I think, in the video. Nothing's too much of a threat to her here, except the flying things, like the crow things, birds or whatever. So those ones. So I used Fischl here in order to try and hit those. Here I just used Chi-Chi to try and freeze certain things. The crows are being really annoying, but then I decided to try and take out the squirrels first with Hu Tao. Again, she can kind of tank some hits. We do a burst there for like 61,000. These things don't have too much resistance and stuff, so it's not too bad. And then Fischl's like trying to hit them. We're waiting for a crow basically, and then I'm using Ningguang just to hit them in the air because, you know, like melee characters aren't going to hit those things. You kind of need a bow character, or even Klee. Klee can't really hit them. She can use her ultimate to take them out, but those are really annoying. I've never farmed this domain much, so this is actually one of the first times I'm doing it, and Hu Tao just made it super, super easy. So yeah, for these guys, I try and line them up. You really don't want to get the angulation too off, so you can see I was messing it up a little bit, because you can probably get it in two charge attacks if you go one way and then back, but you really want to make sure that you're pointed in the right direction. Here we're just using Ningguang to kind of take stuff out. I've got the crow for no reason. But yeah, honestly with Hu Tao, and then if you get support that will take care of the things, mostly like those birds that she can't deal with, then it's gonna be pretty chill. So here there's the birds again. Hu Tao can just, oh yeah, I missed the burst there, so that's super important. The burst has a short range, and when stuff jumps up, it'll definitely miss. So it doesn't have a very, like Ningguang will kind of hone with her burst, and so will Klee's burst. Those will kind of hone in. But with Hu Tao, you have to, basically the way I find it the best is come right up to them and then press your burst. So don't try and like use it at a range, because it might be too short and they might be just out of range. So here Ningguang's just taking out the birds, and I think that was that it? Yeah, that was it. So you can see she's really good in this domain, or against that boss. So now we took her to the Cryo domain. So here we're going to use Klee, Xingqiu for support, and then we're using Venti just to deal with this Cryo mage. So you can, you know, switch out Venti for anyone who's going to be able to kind of kill off the Cryo mage, and this same team will work perfectly. I'm using Klee because she's also able to just break the shields really easily on the Cryo mage. I'm not trying to deal damage with Klee, even though she's built better than Hu Tao right now, so she can do a bit more damage. Basically, I didn't charge the ult, so you can also do that, but I'm using, yeah, so I'm going to break the shield here with Klee, and then I just want to put the Cryo mage into the vortex, and then try to kind of kill him off from there. Usually I'll use that with Klee, and it works really great. Here you can see Hu Tao kind of infused the tornado with the pyro, and then the Viridescent Venom set effect came into play. Otherwise we're using Xingqiu. I did a burst there, but I wasn't in the E form. So you can see, I think the non-crit was less than 10k, and then the crit that hit the big guy was for 20k. Here we just use Venti. He's not too powerful. I just needed to pick up the mage and put him in the vortex, and now we're gonna pull out Hu Tao and just focus in on this guy, because it's really easy to kind of get hit by the Cryo mage a couple times and then basically die, and it's super annoying. So now once her E runs out, you want to switch out to anyone, like another main DPS. So I'm using Klee here. I could have probably finished him with her kind of ult here, but I try to switch out because I want to use Hu Tao. So I use the Xingqiu to get his ult up, and so that we can start vaporizing. Here's a point I really want to make. So you can see how Hu Tao is doing kind of okay against the shield, but because she's also running out of her E, it's not ideal. I find she's not the best against shields, especially Geo shields. As you can see at the end, is pretty fast, but Klee was able to take out that shield in just a couple hits. So Klee is definitely better at taking out shields, and she's better at mining. So people with claymores and who can mine are better. Okay, here we're using Xingqiu. Basically Team Xingqiu, Noelle, and Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi's just here kind of because she's really good at keeping people alive. But I'm finding for the Primal Geovishap, you really need like that's where when you start hyper investing into Hu Tao, it starts paying off. We use Noelle just like that for the shield, and she's level 13, so you can see how important it is to use someone who can put up good shields. Usually I used someone like Albedo or Ningguang, but then the boss kind of stands on the shards and it's actually really hard to pick up those shields. So someone like Noelle is much better. Otherwise we're using Xingqiu and Hu Tao here, and basically just trying to combo them up. We got one good combo in there, and you probably saw the burst, but I'll point it out the second time. So here we can see Xingqiu cannot fully get his ult up, so still need to keep on building him so that he can actually get his ult up in two pulls, and you're gonna need a lot of energy recharge for that. Probably like 220%, I'm thinking. And otherwise I have to wait for it to come up, and then I do it. There's the sacrificial sword proc, so we have the E again, but I'm gonna press the Q, and then I'm gonna press the E, collect the particles, switch to Hu Tao, and now Hu Tao's doing damage. Here I messed up because I think I saw he was going to do the kind of elemental attack that you need the shield for, so I cancelled out of Hu Tao's E and I went to Noelle, but I think Hu Tao got hit anyways, so I should have just tanked it and kept going. I think we're going to see one more burst from Hu Tao, but you can see how it's a little bit difficult. You have to dodge a lot of hits from the Primal Geovishap. He's pretty annoying. He's got high defense, so the higher your stats are, the better. I think once my Shincho is like level 70, or at least Ascension 4, and I take up his artifacts and artifacts and talents, then his damage will also help a lot in the grand scheme of things, because those swords are going to be definitely helping. So here's a burst, and we can see 35,000. So a 35,000 vaporize. Otherwise, I think in the cryo domain, we did a burst and it was like, I want to say it's 40,000 or something. Alright, so here I just want to kind of break down and at least show all of the characters that I was using in this video, so that y'all can see exactly what everybody's kind of power levels are at. So we're using, in the last run, Xingqiu. So my Xingqiu, I literally got him at the same time as Hu Tao. He was the last character or 4-star that I was missing, and he's super good. So I started building him, but I'm so broke that I can't get him any higher than this. For his weapon, I'm pretty sure this is his best in slot, but you want a sacrificial sword, obviously. R1 is better, but if you can ideally get it up to R5, that'll make Xingqiu kind of god tier, because I think it'll go up to 70 on R4 and probably 80% at R5, and that's really what you need. For his artifacts, I've got good artifacts, but they're not powered up. So his HP, I started taking this one up just because he was dying so much right now. He's getting one-shotted a lot, but something like this, I'm focusing a lot on energy recharge and then just damage stats. So attack percent, crit rate, and crit damage. So this one's good. It's got crit damage, attack percent, energy recharge. This one's really good too. This one's for my Kaching or someone, but she's not really built, so I'm just using it here. It's got crit rate, crit damage. This one's got... His artifacts are really good. Yeah, this one looks really good if it rolls well. It's Hydra damage bonus. But he's not built right now too much. But yeah, his talents, right now they're all at level 1, so that's why he's not doing anything. And then constellations for him are, I'd say, unnecessary, but they just make him better and better. So this one's really good, and decreasing hydro resistance is really good. So C2 is good, and then I think it's like C6. Okay, so the Noelle that I was using, she's straight up level 13, and you can see how important against the Geovishap someone like Noelle or someone with a fast shield. So I find Diona's shield is a little bit slower because her arrows, I think, need to fly and then hit before the shield's up. So honestly, someone like Noelle's shield or Zhongli is just like perfect, because they block it completely, and Noelle's shield is very fast. So she's got nothing. Like, she's got this. I put one artifact on her, just 1 HP in case she'd get hit. She's got constellations, but yeah, she's level 13. So Chi-Chi's a little bit cracked. Not too much. It's a Chi-Chi. She's kind of built for burst attack with gladiators. It's just very questionable, but she heals so well because of her effects. These are constellations. These are her talents. Nothing too special. I just have the prototype Rancor because of the high base attack. So that'll help with the healing, and then the physical damage bonus is really good for her attacking. But that's just the Chi-Chi that we were using, but she's just so good with her normal skills. You don't really need to invest into her a lot. Okay, and Hydro Cryo domain, we were using Klee, who's our main DPS, and she was kind of trucking. So we've got the Wid Sith on her. We've got maxed out artifacts, except this HP one, which we should do, but doesn't really matter. The other ones are maxed out. I'm not gonna go through all the artifacts, but these are kind of her stats. So she was pretty cracked out. But I'd say honestly, in terms of damage with the Xingqiu, Hu Tao was doing pretty close to her. But yeah, Klee is cracked out. So we were using Ningguang on the Hydro thingy, the Hydro boss. And Ningguang is my second main damage dealer. So she's got very good artifacts here. They're all at, I guess they're not all at 20, but the important ones are at 20. And I'll just show her attributes. So this is kind of her attack. This is her crit rate, crit damage, and then down here is her geo damage bonus. So this is kind of like, she's not like completely maxed out, but that was that. I'll show Fischl quickly. So Fischl is really good against those birds. I'll talk about it. I talked about it in the video, but Fischl here, basically, this is her attack and stuff. No crit rate, no crit damage. She's just mostly elemental mastery, and this isn't even that good. And she's got no electro damage bonus, so I need to fix her. But her artifacts are like level 4, not even powered up. Fischl's just really good. She's got a good bow, the stringless weapon at level 80. You should use this one. But Fischl's just solid. She really helps. I just use her for basically the crow. I think I want to say that was it. So those were. Oh, and then we use Venti. So my Venti, I want to say he's not amazing. Like I've invested into him quite a bit. So he's got Favonius at 80, R1, and then he's got level 20 artifacts for most of them. Not the HP one, but or something like this. I've got an elemental mastery instead of crit rate. So I'm just gonna leave it because with the Favonius, it doesn't really matter. This could be attack or something else, but I wanted him to get elemental mastery from somewhere. Then he's got animo damage bonus and then attack. This one could be crit rate or something, and then this one could be the other one. But if you're gonna run attack here, then this does not matter at all. It's basically the same. Yeah. So then it's your constellations. He's got his talents done. Klee's talents are pretty done too. But those were the characters I was using. Most of them are pretty decent. I just wanted to show with the Noelle and Xingqiu and Chi-Chi just kind of a proof of concept. Alright, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. We're going to be looking at Hu Tao's weapons, and I'm going to make a couple more videos on her this week about my thoughts on her and her support and other stuff like that. So take care. Thanks.